The city was waking slowly, its streets still damp from the night's drizzle, the air heavy with the scent of wet earth and the faint tang of garbage. Mr. Hassan, a billionaire accustomed to marble halls and polished floors, now walked these streets in ragged clothes, his hands calloused from holding a tattered basket as if he had always belonged here. The reflection of the rising sun in puddles seemed almost mocking, a reminder of the life he had left behind for this unusual test. Underneath the worn scarf that covered his hair and part of his face, Hassan's eyes scanned the surroundings with intense focus. Each passerby seemed absorbed in their own world, hurrying to work, ignoring the corners of society they did not wish to see. And there he was, a poor garbage-collecting woman, invisible in plain sight, blending seamlessly into the background. It was remarkable how easy it was to disappear when one shed the armor of wealth. He had spent weeks planning this. Every wrinkle in the clothing, every smudge of dirt on his face, every limp in his step was calculated to make the disguise believable. Even his posture had changed. He stooped slightly, shoulders hunched from imagined years of labor. But his mind remained alert, racing with questions about his daughter-in-law, Zara. Was she as kind-hearted as the rumors suggested, or was her admiration only for wealth and status? Today, he would see the truth. The basket on his arm was heavy, filled with discarded cans, scraps of paper, and broken trinkets. Each item he picked up seemed insignificant to others, yet it was a symbol of the invisible labor that sustained the city. As he moved along the street, he noted the reactions, or lack thereof, from people passing by. Some stared, some avoided eye contact, and a few sneered. He felt a pang of sorrow and also a strange satisfaction. This was a side of the world rarely seen by the privileged, and it reminded him why empathy was so precious. When he approached Zara's neighborhood, his heart beat faster. From behind a street corner, he saw her laughing with friends, her designer shoes clicking against the pavement. She looked radiant, confident, and carefree. Yet, Hassan knew appearances could be deceiving. Every gesture, every glance, would be scrutinized today. Would she notice the struggling woman nearby? Would she act with genuine concern, or would she pass by, her mind occupied with her own comfort? He adjusted his scarf, straightened the basket, and moved a little closer to the sidewalk where she walked. His pulse quickened as he prepared for the first subtle interaction. The challenge was simple yet profound. Observe Zara's heart, unseen and unjudged, in the rawest form of human instinct. And in that quiet, tense moment, amidst the city's hum, the millionaire realized that the next few hours could define the trust and respect between him and his family forever. Zara's heels clicked against the uneven pavement, her mind buzzing with thoughts of meetings, social events, and the ever-growing pressures of city life. She moved with poise, wrapped in the elegance of designer clothes, completely unaware of the silent observer watching her from just a few feet away. Mr. Hassan, hidden beneath his tattered clothing and scarf, followed at a careful distance, every step measured, every gesture calculated. His heart thumped with anticipation. This was the moment he had been waiting for. A few meters ahead, the disguised Hassan deliberately struggled with a heavy sack, the contents of which threatened to spill onto the street. The bag bulged with discarded bottles, crumpled paper, and scraps of leftover food. Passers-by ignored the struggling woman, stepping over fallen items, muttering complaints under their breath. And then, Zara's gaze fell upon him, or rather, her gaze fell upon the struggling figure. She hesitated, her fingers tightening around the strap of her handbag. For a fleeting second, it seemed as if she might walk past, absorbed in her own concerns. Hassan felt a pang of anxiety. Could it be possible that she would ignore someone in need? But then, almost instinctively, Zara's steps slowed. Her brow furrowed, and a shadow of concern crossed her face. She scanned the situation, noticing that the heavy bag threatened to topple onto the wet sidewalk. Without a word, she stepped forward. "Do you need help?" she asked softly, her tone gentle but commanding enough to cut through the city's noise. Hassan's heart leapt. This was more than he could have hoped for. He allowed her to take hold of the sack, carefully guiding it upright as she balanced it with surprising strength. "Thank you," he murmured, voice hoarse and disguised. Zara nodded, offering a warm smile, unaware of the millionaire observing her every move. But Hassan didn't stop there. He decided to test her further. With deliberate care, he let a small item, a crumpled can, slip from the bag, rolling toward her feet. Zara noticed it immediately. She bent down and picked it up, glancing around to see if anyone had dropped it. Then, with quiet composure, she returned it to the bag and adjusted the burden on the woman's shoulders. Her actions were small, seemingly trivial, yet to Hassan, they spoke volumes. Here was a woman whose instinct was kindness, whose heart was untainted by judgment or greed. A sudden gust of wind tore open the bag, scattering its contents across the street. Commuters hurried past, indifferent, but Zara dropped to her knees without hesitation. She spoke softly, calming the invisible struggle, picking up the scattered scraps one by one. Each movement was precise, careful, and full of empathy. Hassan, hidden beneath the disguise, felt a swell of pride. She had passed the first true test. As Zara finished gathering the last of the debris, she looked up, brushing damp hair from her face, unaware that the man she had just helped was not a stranger, but the very father-in-law whose approval she had yet to earn. Hassan's heart raced with anticipation. The next stages of the test would reveal even deeper truths. Days passed, and Mr. Hassan, still hidden beneath his tattered disguise, continued to observe Zara from a careful distance. Each encounter was designed to test her character, revealing not just how she acted in comfort, but how she responded to the vulnerable, the overlooked, and the desperate. Sometimes, he watched from the shadows as she passed a hungry child on the street, stopping briefly to hand over a small snack from her own bag. Other times, he saw her intervene gently when a vendor berated a laborer, quietly offering words of encouragement and support. Hassan marveled at the subtleties of her behavior. She didn't act for recognition or reward. There was no performance, no need for applause. Every act of kindness seemed instinctive, flowing naturally from her character. The very qualities he had feared might be lacking, the empathy, the humility, the genuine concern for others, were abundant. And yet, the final test remained. Could she show these traits even when faced with the poor and helpless, in a more challenging situation, one that required courage and composure? That opportunity arrived one chilly afternoon. Hassan, disguised as a frail street woman, struggled with a pile of old rags and broken items, deliberately dropping several pieces in Zara's path. She had been walking briskly, heading home after a meeting, when her eyes caught the scattered debris. Many would have walked on, ignoring the mess. But Zara's instincts were different. She paused, assessing the situation. Without hesitation, "Are you all right? Let me help you with this," she said, her voice calm, steady, and full of concern. She bent down, carefully lifting the scattered pieces, offering a reassuring smile. To an outsider, it might have seemed a small act, but Hassan knew better. Each gesture revealed her heart. Each expression of care was a confirmation that she valued humanity above wealth, compassion above status. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. Hassan straightened slightly, revealing a small, deliberate stumble, testing whether she would notice and react with genuine concern. Zara's eyes widened as she reached out instinctively to steady him. "Please, be careful," she said softly, her tone protective, unhesitant. He had watched many people pass by indifferently, yet she had stopped at every opportunity to offer help. Taking a deep breath, Hassan decided it was time. With a swift motion, he removed the scarf that had hidden his face for days. The worn-out disguise fell away, revealing the familiar, commanding face of the billionaire. Zara froze, her hands trembling slightly as recognition dawned. Shock, disbelief, and a hint of fear crossed her features in rapid succession. "Mr. Hassan," she whispered, her voice catching, unable to mask her astonishment. "Yes, Zara," he said warmly, his eyes soft yet piercing. "I wanted to see the heart behind the appearances. Today, you have shown kindness, courage, and empathy, the true measures of character. I am proud to say that you have passed every test." Zara's relief was palpable, washing over her in waves. What she had feared might have been judgment or punishment was instead a testament to her integrity, a recognition of her innate goodness. In that moment, both of them understood that the truest virtues are revealed not in comfort, but in compassion, and that sometimes, the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected disguises. The revelation lingered in the air like the soft afterglow of a storm. Zara stood frozen for a moment, her mind racing, her heart pounding, as the reality sank in. The woman she had helped, the struggling figure she had treated with care, was none other than her father-in-law. Shock gave way to reflection, and reflection to humility. In that instant, Zara realized that her instinct to help had been genuine, untainted by expectation or reward, and that her actions had spoken louder than any words ever could. Mr. Hassan studied her quietly, his eyes filled with both warmth and approval. "Zara," he said, his voice steady yet kind, "today I've seen who you truly are. Not as my son's wife, not as someone who is married into wealth, but as a human being, compassionate, thoughtful, and brave. You have proven that character is measured not by status or luxury, but by the kindness we show when no one is watching." Tears welled in Zara's eyes, but she smiled, a mixture of relief and pride washing over her. I didn't realize. I was only doing what felt right," she said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. "I didn't know it would matter so much, or that anyone would notice." Hassan stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It matters because it shows who you are at your core. These small acts of empathy define you far more than the trappings of wealth ever could. And today, you've shown me, and yourself, that your heart is in the right place." From that day forward, their relationship transformed. What had begun as a test of character blossomed into mutual respect and trust. Zara no longer felt the pressure to impress or prove herself. Instead, she moved through life with renewed confidence in her own values. And Hassan, for his part, felt a sense of relief and pride he had never experienced before. He knew his son's family was in good hands, not because of money or social status, but because of the integrity and compassion Zara had demonstrated. The story of the millionaire disguised as a garbage-collecting woman became a quiet legend within the family, retold not with drama but as a moral compass for future generations. It served as a reminder that true wealth is measured not in gold or possessions, but in empathy, humility, and the courage to act with kindness. Zara continued her life with a deeper awareness of the world around her, no longer taking simple gestures of care for granted. She learned that compassion can ripple outward in ways unimaginable, touching lives and shaping destinies in subtle, powerful ways. And Mr. Hassan, watching her grow into a beacon of genuine goodness, knew that sometimes, the greatest lessons in life come from the most unexpected disguises, and that character, once revealed, is the most valuable treasure of all. In the end, both of them understood that love, trust, and integrity are not earned through appearances, but through consistent, selfless actions. And in that quiet understanding, the family found not just peace, but an unshakable bond, stronger than any fortune could buy.